I'm Hui Hui, Lian He Zao Bao. My question is for David. Two questions. The first one, as a SME owner yourself, how do you view the recent hike in foreign worker levy? And also, how do you think this push for productivity, how do you convince SME owners that, this push for productivity is the way to go? And the second question is, I understand you run a publishing business, and I understand that for grassroots works, a lot of times you have publications as well. So how do you see any conflicts of interest when if you are elected an MP and, and your business interest?
I'll answer the first question. I think the foreign workers levy, I think it will also, yes, in the near term, it will contribute to some operational costs, like human resource costs and all that. But I think the overall objective to push towards higher productivity is important. I think that is something that I think we should embrace and bring ourselves to a next level. In terms of the the question that you asked me about whether there's any conflict. Yes.
How do you convince owners, complaining about the pain, of having to pay for higher levy charges and all that?
Well, I think I talked to some of them. I think some of them is not so concerned about. Of course, they are concerned about the cost, but some of them they are actually looking for workers. They are short of workers for some of them. So there are some issues. One is shortage of workers, and of course, rising costs. But in terms of the benefits that the government gives to the budget, that could offset some of this cost concern as well. So I think the question of whether, in terms of my business, whether there's any conflict of interest, I think basically for me, I don't think there's any. I think we are above board in what we do. We do not. Right now there's no contract so-called with any government bodies or whatever. So everything is above board. We are a publication that's almost free, and we actually get sales from advertisers.
You do have any contracts with STB?
No, none at all. Yeah, no obligation or contractual obligations to any of the government body.
My question is to all three candidates. You talked about wanting to give back to society, but actually all of you are really involved in various ways. For instance, Dr. Intan in various groups, Mr. Ong in grassroots, and Mr. Wong has been doing policy making in civil service. What exactly is it? What's the extra thing that you would bring to a table by entering politics? That's one question. And the second thing is, why the PAP?
Do you want to start?
Okay. Thank you for the question. Why join politics when I have been giving back to society through volunteer work? I see this as a natural extension of what I've been doing, whether it's volunteer work or my professional work as an academic. I do policy and leadership studies. We also deal in policies, but specifically in education. And I see this as a larger platform in which I can contribute, because when, as a politician, you're involved in influencing policies, in influencing laws, if I feel that I can contribute in this manner, if given the opportunity, so why not? And why the PAP? I believe in the same core values of the PAP, things such as meritocracy, social inclusivity, racial and religious harmony. I don't see any conflict in that. And I feel that it is a party that's been producing results. It's not perfect. There's definitely room for improvement. But I think we have a lot of good things going for us. We have a world-class world education system. We have very good public housing. We have clean government. So why not the PAP?
David?
Okay. For me as an entrepreneur, I think I'd like to say that, I think that I would try to maybe offer some creative ways at looking at issues and policies. And maybe some things can be solved a bit differently. So I think that I could bring to the table. Why the PAP? I think I believe really in the party. I've worked with on the grassroots as well. And I find that the government is genuinely honest, trying to help people. So I don't think we can fault on that. Some policies may be, maybe require some tweaking. But in fact, I've seen real cases that they actually do tweak those policies based on ground sentiments and ground conditions. So I believe in the system, in the philosophy, in its values, and above all, I think their vision.
Lawrence?
Well, I've been a civil servant, and you're right that in the civil service you formulate and you implement policies. I've had experience doing a wide range of these. But it's a different level, because ultimately the civil servant does not have an electoral mandate or a political mandate. The civil servant implements policies which people give politicians mandate for, and they have given that mandate to the PAP consistently in elections over the years. I would therefore want to make a contribution in continuing in public service, but in politics now. I see that as, in a sense, an extension, but also an opportunity to get more directly involved in shaping policies, for one, and secondly, serving the residents that I'm in, whichever constituency I'm serving. I've been walking around in Boon Lay now, for example. I've met the residents there. I have met the grassroots leaders there. It's an older estate. There are families in need. And I think an MP that can make a real difference, can make a real impact in the community, helping people in the community, helping families that are in need. So that's one area. The opportunity to also, for me, engage, rally Singaporeans, to persuade them to on policies that are good for Singaporeans, good for the country at large, and to be involved in shaping some of these policies. That's another motivation to want to step forward. Why the PAP? I believe that the PAP has programs and policies that are sound generally, that are in the best interest of Singapore. And I would like to do my part in contributing to these programs and these policies and continuing them so that we can continue to shape a brighter future for the country.
Other questions? Maybe take questions from the back, please.